agonizing quite often about what this evening would be like. This group of young men, along with you adults, family out there, have been through it seems like, week to week, more and more situations that challenged us all season long. But we're not here to dwell on what has happened. This is a celebration of your children, these young men. And I want to make sure that we acknowledge that. I made a phone call to Cole Hitchcock today. Actually, each time I called him, he's been sleeping, which is a good sign because that means he's been working hard. But he's in our thoughts each and every day, as in all of yours. Ian McKean, who suffered the dislocated knee, the Linden game, has not been around a whole lot. He is continuously in our thoughts. This football team is not just a group of young men who get together for 12 weeks and then forget. It is a program and a brotherhood that has been in existence in Bellows Falls since I can remember. Once you have become a member of the Purple Gang, you're always a member of the Purple Gang. And it is a proud, at least the way I've always looked at it, it's a proud tradition where you will always care about those guys that were on your team, whether they were older or younger. And we talk about it on a regular basis. So, we want to make sure that we celebrate what has happened. We were projected to be the 6th place team out of 8. We lost 16 seniors the year before from a team that made it to a state championship. In a small school the size of ours, you wouldn't expect that we would be able to return. We were returning 4 seniors. Only 4 seniors who had committed 4 years to this program. On paper, it didn't look like we were going to be a playoff team. We knew we had some good young ball players in the sophomore and junior class. And we knew that our seniors had suffered athletically, at least throughout their high school career, because their class had not really been a participating class. Kyle and Matt and I have talked about that extensively at times. Where you can't worry about what everyone else is doing, you got to focus on what you're doing. And somehow we were able to change the numbers from 4 to 9 seniors this year. And that's a tremendous change in one season. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. The other thing that happened was we had an extremely great group of young men that were very unselfish, that were willing to do whatever they needed to do to help their football team. Kyle Record probably is the single most person that I think of each and every time that I mention that. Because when your heart is set on being a fullback in the Power I offense at Bellows Falls Union High School, that's a pretty prestigious position. It means you like to hit people. It means you know you're not going to get the ball much, but you're in the backfield. And that backfield goes as you go. Kyle only had that opportunity for a very short while. Very short while. And he was more than glad to move back to the offensive guard position that he had played the year before. That's the type of ball player, and that's the type of individual that will make the football team go. And these guys hear this from me on a regular basis. My talk is not usually to parents, it's to the kids. And I tell the kids, and I don't mind telling you, I owe them, I do not owe their parents. I owe you my best effort, I owe you my honesty, and you have to be able to take it. It's not always easy. But this is a unique group of young men right here. On paper, I don't know who in our division would be better than us a year from now. And I am not trying to put pressure on our young men. What I would say to you parents that are here, and I say to each of you sitting out here that does have the opportunity to return, you need to find the weight room. And you need to do it on a regular basis, and it needs to be a commitment. Just like I say to you, usually on a Thursday or a Friday night, don't play the game for yourself, because if you do, we aren't going to do well. Look to your left, look to your right, look behind you, look in front of you, look at all your brothers. That's who you're playing the game for. You play it for each other. You pull for each other. A success by the guy to your right is a success for you. And if you do that, good things will happen. You guys know how I am. I don't say much to the newspaper. I brag to you all the time. I brag to you about how good we could be and what we're capable of. But we don't put it in the newspaper. We don't put it on TV. I don't go to meetings and rant and rave. But I do rant and rave to you. And this is probably the most outspoken I've ever been to a group of people other than my players when I talk about my projections. But we are a talented returning football team. How good we are going to be depends entirely on what you do from today to prepare for next fall. We'll go on from there. One of the most difficult roles I have to fill each year is that of manager. And we had a young man that came this year to be our manager. He's certainly in a, let's say, learning process. We're going to train him and hopefully him not train us. And we're going to get better as time goes on. His heart was in it. I don't think he realized that it's actually quite a bit of work. Chad Lawler. I'm not going to talk about all my underclassmen tonight, and I'm sorry. But I got 39 boys, and I can keep you guys here till midnight easily. I don't think that's a good idea. At least, I don't think it'd be good for me. So, don't feel slighted. It's just, that's the way it's going to be for this evening. So, earning his letter in football, DJ Snide. There you go, thank you. Also earning his letter, Jacob Lober. Maybe Jake. Jake, correct me if I'm wrong when you get here, but I believe getting his pin, Zach Streeter. Pin, Alex Grunwald. Looking for a lot out of this young man, and the only reason I want to mention him is because he also was injured during the football season, and the reason I know he's as tough as Coach Stoogley told me he was is that when he went to get checked out, he told the doctors they were not allowed to cut his shirt off because he'd get in trouble. And with on the sideline, so with a separated shoulder, he took his jersey off. If you've ever seen how tight those jerseys fit, you got to be tough to do that. Dakota Derby. McKean. Nathan Fairbrother.
What is this number here? It's tripping me out.
Tyson Taylor. Again, I can talk about each and every one of these guys without any trouble. This one would really get a lot of attention. Austin Cavilion. You're probably glad I'm not saying anything. Don't worry, you'll be a senior one day. I haven't forgot. Jeremiah Dunbar. Devin Hogan. Christian Terry. Thank you, Christian. Reese Bodner.